It's well worth going to university if you're interested in a subject that's taught at this level, or if you're thinking about a career which normally requires a university degree. After all, graduates tend to earn more over the course of their life and have a wider range of jobs to choose from. And about half of school leavers these days go to university. What I would say is that if you've got good A-level results or good BTEC results, you're going to want to apply to university. Or you might be thinking of doing a career which requires you to have a university degree, maybe a vocational course like nursing or teaching or social care. But if your A-level and BTEC grades are disappointing and you're not that interested in a vocational course, then you should at least think about the alternatives, which would be getting a job with training or maybe doing an apprenticeship. Because doing a non-vocational university degree at a not particularly good university could be regarded as an expensive risk. But most of you looking at this film will be thinking of applying to university for good reasons, and you've got to think about how to apply, which universities to go for, which courses would be suitable for you, something about fees. And this film will answer all those questions.
The first thing to start thinking about is what subject you might want to study. There are basically three types of degree course. There are those which lead quite directly to jobs, medicine, fashion design, dentistry and architecture, for example. Then there are those which don't lead directly to employment, like history or English, but if studied at a good university can easily lead to good jobs. Maths and physics, for example, quite often lead to jobs in finance. And then there are those subjects which might appear to lead to jobs, but in reality they don't, like forensic science or journalism, media studies. You might want to be a lawyer, an accountant, a banker, an advertising agent or a journalist, but you don't need to study those subjects at university because you could be trained after university, whatever subject you studied.
Choosing the right degree course was really important. When I was at school, I knew I loved history, so I started looking at what courses I could take. And then I also started looking at what jobs a degree in history could lead me to.
I did the exact same thing. I'm studying medicine because I found it really fascinating when I was in school. But certain subjects appeal to different people. I've got a friend who's doing physics, another who's doing geography, and even one who's doing modern languages as well.
Which A-level subjects do you need to take for any given university course? Well, you'll need to check the specific course requirements of any degree that you might be interested in. The Russell Group universities are 24 of the most selective universities, and on their website they've got a part called Informed Choices. On that website they say that some A-level subjects keep more degree subject options open than others. So these are maths, further maths, physics, chemistry, biology, modern and ancient languages, English literature, geography, history, and philosophy and ethics, and I would add economics. These keep options open. But of course, if you wanted to be a designer, then you should do art A-level. If you love music, then it would be perfectly all right to do a subject like music A-level.
I had friends who wanted to study engineering, so they did A-level subjects like maths or physics. Or I had some friends who wanted to do medicine, so they studied A-level subjects like biology or chemistry.
The next step for me, once I chose my A-level subjects, was to make sure I achieved the right grades. Different universities require different grades. For example, Oxford or Cambridge universities, you need about 8 A-stars at GCSE and to be predicted at least A-star AA at A-level. Other universities are less demanding, and the grades they require can be looked up in Brian Heap's book, University Degree Course Offers, or on www.whatuni.com. It was really important for me to research what grades I would need to achieve for my choice universities and degree course.
It's important to note that some courses are harder to get into than others. For example, medicine or veterinary science or law are amongst the hardest. Anyway, the Unistats website is really good because it tells you the average A-level scores of students studying each course at each university.
Once you've decided on a degree course, you know the required grades, and you're convinced that the hard work is worthwhile, then it's a good idea to look more closely at which university you'd like to apply to. Some universities are much better than others, and in general terms, the most popular universities are the best, and that's why the rank order of universities, given subject by subject in Brian Heap's book, University Degree Course Offers, is a good indication of their quality. Of course, there are some slightly less well-known universities that offer amazingly good individual courses, such as the design courses at Northumbria University, for example.
It's worth noting that some universities have very similar names but are completely different universities. For example, Cardiff Metropolitan's not the same as Cardiff University.
And on another note, it's important to remember that some universities will offer unconditional places. Now, these universities, they're neither better or worse than universities which don't offer this, but it is a marketing strategy, so don't be too tempted by an unconditional offer.
I find it really helpful to visit open days at the universities. So go to www.opendays.com and you can see lists of open days across the country.
So, what else should you consider when choosing a university?
Don't worry too much about the location of the university. University terms are pretty short and you're not going to be going home that much during the term. So it really doesn't matter too much where your university is located. So for example, if you lived in the south of England, there should be no barrier to you applying for a good university in Scotland, for example, because a 4-hour train journey should not prevent you from applying to a university which otherwise seems attractive to you.
How competitive is the university? Some courses, like medicine, have too many applicants with excellent GCSEs, and very good applicants have difficulty being offered a place. It's important to consider this when applying to a university.
To apply to university, you simply go onto the UCAS website, and there you register, and everything you need to do to fill in the online form is explained on that website. If you're applying to Oxford University or Cambridge, or to read medicine or veterinary science or dentistry, wherever in the country, you need to have completed that application by the beginning of October, a full year before you're likely to go to university. For other subjects, you don't have to have completed the form until January of the year that you would be going to university. But it's a really good idea, if you can, to do it much earlier than that, ideally by the end of October, partly because some universities start giving offers to good applicants well before the January closure deadline.
You can select up to 5 universities through UCAS, except if you're studying medicine, veterinary science or dentistry, in which case you can select up to 4. You should choose only one subject or broadly similar subjects. The reason is that you've got to write a personal statement which supports your application and explains why you want to do your chosen course. You can't really do this convincingly if you're applying for different subjects at different universities.
If you're applying for a course that requires you to take a pre-test, like the BMAT or the UK CAT, then it's really important to get all the information you can about those tests from the websites, and also to do some practice papers. Because if you do badly in these difficult tests, you won't get an offer.
If you apply to Oxford and Cambridge universities, try to visit them on an open day. Find out which colleges attract the largest number of applicants. Perhaps don't apply to these colleges. It's very hard to get into Oxford and Cambridge, and you don't want to reduce your chances further by applying to a very popular college.
At the end of the process, you could only hold 2 offers, a first choice offer and an insurance offer. Now, if you're predicted, say, 3A grades at A-level or something even better than that, you can apply to 4 or 5 top universities. But if you're not predicted such grades, then you should apply for one university that is aspirational. Maybe it normally asks for 1 grade above your predictions. 2 universities that generally require the grades that you are predicted, and then 2 others that normally ask for slightly lower grades than you're predicted. So, for example, if you're predicted an A and 2 Bs at A-level, then ideally you'll have a first choice university that asks for an A and 2 Bs, or maybe just slightly higher, but then an insurance offer that asks for, say, 3 Bs, just in case your results are disappointing. There's absolutely no value in having an insurance offer that is the same as or higher than your first choice offer, and then you'll need to write a personal statement to support your applications.
The personal statement is used to explain why you're applying for a particular course and is sent to all your chosen universities.
If you're applying for a vocational course, like medicine or law, or a course not taught in school, like architecture or archaeology, then you need to use your personal statement to show that you've done more than just sit your A-levels. For medicine, for example, you need to show that you've done some work experience, organised by yourself over many weeks, in a hospital or an old people's home. For archaeology, you need to have read several books and visited archaeological sites.
In order to stand out from other applicants and to demonstrate that you're capable of independent study, it's quite a good idea to do an extended project, if you can, sometime between the middle of year 12 and ideally October of year 13.
Some universities will invite you to an interview after you apply. It's really important that you actually prepare for the interview. You can even ask people at your school, like your teachers, for help.
After you've applied, you will start to hear from universities. If you get all rejections, or you change your mind about the subject you want to study, you can apply again between February and July through a process called UCAS Extra. If you get better A-level or BTEC grades than expected, you can apply again in August, after you've got your results, through something called UCAS Adjustment. And if you're holding a firm offer from a university, you won't lose that, but you've only got a few days in which to do it. If you get worse A-level or BTEC grades than expected and fail to meet the grade offers that you hold, you can in fact apply again to different universities in August through something called UCAS Clearing. And it's increasingly the case that universities take students who failed to get the grades that they'd originally asked for.
So to recap, do the right A-level subjects, work hard and get the right grades, research the course that you want to do carefully, look sensibly at the universities that you're going to select for your UCAS application, and make sure that you choose 5 universities where you've got a reasonable chance of getting an offer. Good luck.